Hey, awesome people of YouTube, welcome back to another Wartales video. I hope you enjoyed the little short that I had. It's one of my very few shorts, so I'm really bad at it. But before we get into the video, because this video is about professions, because some professions are really awesome and some are not as great, you know. We'll kind of be ranking them and talking about them. So before we get into that, just remember, if we can get to 500 subscribers by November 12th, which is about 4 days, well, 500 we're really close. We'll be doing $25 gift card giveaway. But with that said, let's get into the video. So we all know your characters have their normal specializations, like they're a ranger, but they can be a poisoner, or a swordman that is a fighter, or protector, duelist, swordsman, whatever, right? But what you also might know is they can have profession. The professions can be blacksmith, woodcutter, bard, scholar, angler, miner, alchemist, thief, cook, or tinker, right? And depending what kind of character you have will determine, will not really determine, but like if you have a profession that gives you strength, you want to put it on a character that's primarily in strength, like your swordsman or brute. And if it's dexterity, you want to put on your ranger or archer, right? So they get a little bit more buff to their stats. So we're going to be starting with, where's it at? With an alchemist, right? Alchemists are really nice. I would not say they should be one of the very first professions you have, like one of the first four, but they're really, really nice. They're probably more your fifth or so. So as you can see, profession or alchemist profession allows you to brew certain concoctions. At apprentice, you can only brew apprentice. At your journeyman, you do experience concoctions, and you have a small chance to generate Alazarian powder, which is used for making rhyme steel, which is used for blacksmithing, which is alchemist is really nice, needed for blacksmithing. And at journeyman, or you get novice. Sorry, at novice you can only do just basics. At apprentice you get the next, and then experienced. And then at the journeyman you can do journeyman concoctions, and you can generate alchemical residue, which you need for a next Cadian, I believe. I apologize if I butchered it. Or to make those ingots, so you can do higher tier smithing. And at the master you can learn and brew master concoctions. So not only you'll be able to brew your meds. As you can see, medicine, you may be able to do cure for plague. You also be able to get the beautiful alchemical residue and alkazanium powder to get great clusters into rhyme steel and Acadian steel from the chunks, right? But you can also get there it is, infectious oil with it, which you need. You can get higher tiers, you can get different oils. It is really nice, and you want to use oils. It's not one-time use. As soon as you apply it, it's there forever. Like I have it on this, with the rhyme steel. Infectious oil allows me to just do a lot more damage. So alchemists are really useful. At tier 1, at their novice, you get +1 dexterity. At I think it's experienced, right? Let me see on this. Or at apprentice you get 2 dexterity. At the next rank you get 4, and then 7, and at masters you get 10 to dexterity. Right? Now let's look at angler. I don't have a master angler, but angler is primarily for catching fish. You get willpower. At novice, then you get willpower and crit, and at masters you can get up to 4 willpower and 6 critical hit, which is pretty nice for characters that you want to do crit. You can do it on your ranger or your archer, but so they can hit hard, but it's up to you. So at first they allow you just to make sturdy fish hooks. Then you'll be able to get other random components when you're fishing. At an expert, you'll be able to use expert fish hooks. And you can often reel in random components with fish. And at masters, when fishing, you will have more chance of getting random components when fishing, right? So it's good to have at the start. So you want to have a character that kind of like switches between professions. And the reason why is because angler, you're not going to stick around, but it's good to get the early game food, you know, when you're starting, just to get a little bit extra food, and then you can switch it, right? Now, let's look at the bard. And I don't have max bard, but the bard gives you constitution. And constitution is, if we look right here, determines how much health and carry capacity. So it allows your characters to be tanky. You can put it on a primarily tanky character, but I put it on this guy because he is not as tanky and I use him a little bit in frontline. So at first level they get constitution, but at maximum when they're masters, they'll get +7 constitution, +4 willpower. And if they get to 15 willpower, they will have, you know, extra chance of not dying. But what bard does is, if they have the loot, they will be able to perform at the ends, giving you more crowns, aka money, and influence. So it's not bad if you want to roleplay that way, or if you want to have a little extra things to do. So at first they'll give you more rewards for each song. Then at the next rank, the crowd is willing to offer you precious items. At the third rank, even more precious. And the max, when you hit the gold nose, which will be in your mini game, to earn more rewards. So it's not bad if you want to do it, but I definitely would not put it in the first 4 or even 5 professionals. Probably towards the end, you know, unless you want to roleplay it with that. Now let's talk about one of my more favorites, is the blacksmithing. So blacksmithing gives you +10 strength at max level. At first it gives you +1, and at rank 1 you be able to forge just the basic materials, you know, just rags. At apprentice you get apprentice, and then experience you get experience, and you can alter items to increase their quality. So let's say you messed up in your mini game, you got 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 4 or even 1 out of 4 or none, you can alter it and have another go at it. In journeyman you get journeyman blueprints, at masters. So you want to have a blacksmith if you want to get really good gear, like rhyme steel gear, or even ghost gear or Arcadian gear. You get in your blacksmithing. You're also gonna need levels, which is where the short came in. But in order to make this rhyme steel gear, you're gonna need it, right? Because if we look at the knowledge and the anvil, at first you're gonna be able just to make rags. That's your basic novice blacksmith. Then at apprentice, you'll be able to make apprentice, you know, which is your reinforced and padded and iron stuff. At experienced, you'll be able to make the ghost armor sets, which is really nice. At journeyman, you'll be able to make the rhyme steel gear, and at masters, you'll be able to get Acadian, which is obviously going to need a lot of XP, but it's also going to make you very, very tanky. Like if we look at my guy, he has 232 armor, you know. He gets 162 armor just from the battle plate and 43 from the helmet. Mind you, I do have a perk that if I run full set, it gives me more. But that's a lot of armor right there. He also has a decent shield, you know, which I'll probably be switching. But that gives you a lot of armor. Blacksmithing is definitely needed. It's probably, I would say, yeah, I would definitely recommend it as being one of your first 4 professions. Again, on your swordsman or brute. So definitely would recommend it. Now, let's talk about our cook, which is the next profession. You can use it in your first 4 if you want to. I'm kind of iffy about that because all it gives is constitution. At novice it gives you 2, and at the masters it gives you 14. But what it also does is it allows you to prepare better meals, and at rank 3 it reduces by how fast your troops gain fatigue after a full meal, so it gives 5%. And at masters it makes your troops eat 2 less food, which might not be too amazing, but it is helpful, and you can make some of the amazing food. I put on this guy, which, I mean, he doesn't need constitution, but I messed that one up. But some of the food that you can make is really awesome. So you'll be able to make like your basic wolf sausages, medium mutton or medium rare muttons, grilled pork, braised chicken, bass, blah blah blah. But then you'll be able to make advanced foods like beer infused wolf ribs, to where you gain 20% increased crit damage, lasts until next reset, and also gives you 14 food. Or mutton stew, which you do gotta get recipes, but increases your strength by 15%. Or apple pancake reduces the speed at which you choose fatigue by 30%, which is massive. And then you can combine into even better meal, into feasts like cultured shock, which gives you more strength, reduces the speed at which your troops gain fatigue, and increase your troop happiness. Mind you, it consumes apple pancake and mutton stew, but mutton stew gives you 15, but this full meal gives you 20. Apple pancake gives you 30 reduced speed of fatigue. This gives you 35, and it gives you 40 food, which is massive. You do combine both of them, so it's 28 food. With, I believe, beer gives you 40, and that's huge. And since you have a cook, you might be able to. Where is that? Right here. Yeah, 1 and 6 brandy, you get max. But since you have a master cook, they might, if you get the right perks, you might be able to even make it into a delicious. So let's see, culture shock at 1 gives 20% strength and 35 fatigue reduction. At just getting it to delicious, it gives 5% more strength and 15% reduction in speed, which is massive, and 2 happiness. Huge buff, which is why cook is definitely a worthy profession to get. If not your first 4, definitely a number 5. Right? Now let's look at a miner. Right? So a mining profession gives you constitution and strength. At rank 1, it just gives you +1 constitution. At masters, it gives you 7 constitution and 5 strength, right? In order to get it, you just gotta mine, It also allows you to mine precious stones, great clusters, and etherite, right? So, and at max, increase the amount of resource gathered when mining, which is when you reach masters. I wouldn't say it's one of your first 4 professions. I would use it as the rotating profession in your one of your 4 characters. When you switch between angler and miner, I would do that until you have enough people. And the reason why it's not super required. It is needed, especially in more later game when you want to make your rhyme steel or Acadian armor sets, right? But if you're not doing it, or if you don't have enough people, it's not really as important. So definitely not a top 4. Probably number 6 or 7 professions towards the later. Right now, let's look at scholar. Scholar is definitely a really nice profession, but in order to get it, you need to make a camp lectern, and in order to get a camp lectern, you need to be rank 4 or level 4 with masteries and wisdoms. And there's a few ways to rank them up. I'll have a video for how to rank them all up, except for Grandma Guess, because I don't do that on this playthrough. But what Scholar does is gives you willpower, right? At rank 1, it just gives you +2, and at Masters, it gives you +8, which this guy is almost there. But it allows you to decipher antiquities that you get from the tombs, and solving the puzzles at the tomb. When you reach Expert, it gives you +1 knowledge. At or Apprentice gives you +1 knowledge. At Expert, it allows you, when you restore a legendary treasure, gives you an extra knowledge. And then at Journeyman, reduces by 1 number of rests required to restore precious items. So, if we look over here, since I have it at Lectern level 2, it gives me, reduces it by, studying antiques takes 2 days less, so it's actually 2 days less required, and it gives me more knowledge, and it gives me a bunch of, knowledge stuff, so I can pick up more perks. But over here, there's the fragments that, after a day or 2, you might get a really amazing item. But also you get codex, which, allows you to research stuff, which allows you to get clues, but you need runes. So it's definitely important, because you might get an amazing item. Like I got this Urkashet mace, which is massive. It is required level 5. I wish I had a better version of it, but it's just, if the unit has more strength than a target, the damage is doubled and the critical hit is guaranteed. So it is massive for that. That's why Scholar is definitely not the top 4, because you won't be able to get it. But definitely like number 5 and number 6. Again, depends on what you go with. Definitely worth it. Now, let's look at, where's this man? Another perk, which is a thief perk. Even if you don't go with thieving, I definitely recommend it, as your first 4 because it allows your character to get dexterity and critical hit. You want to put it on your ranger or your archer because again they're dexterity primary characters. Critical hit allows them to hit hard. At novice, they can just steal items and pick locks. At the next level, they get no longer caught. Gets caught when discover or reduces the amount of suspicion gained from more sources. Then it's no gets caught when discovering, stealing, and then at journeyman you have higher chances to fence chest items. You need the chest. But even if you don't do the criminal stuff, just being able to pick locks is huge because there you get some goodies, you get some recipes, some extra luxury items, stuff like that. So this playthrough, I don't do anything or haven't really done anything bad. So just pick locks and you get it. It's really worth it because at level 1, you only get +1 dexterity at novice. At the masters, you get +4 dexterity and +6 critical hit, which is pretty good. Allows you to crit more. So definitely put it as one of the first 4. So that thief and blacksmith are your first 4. Right? Also, yeah. Now let's look at probably the most needed thing to do a lot of stuff, and it is the Tinker. So if you look over here, Tinker just gives you crit hit. At novice, it gives you +2 crit hit. At master, it gives you 12, and it allows you to create, camping gear. And with each level, it allows you to create and improve camping gear, which is, your lectern or your hitching post or your camp chest, stuff like that. It allows you to make them and get a better version of it. It's definitely needed because at the start, you definitely, in my 5 tips, you want to use camp equipment because it's huge. So that is why needed. That is definitely number 1 profession that you need. One of the first 4, definitely. So Tinker, Thief, and Blacksmith are your first 4. Your 4th guy is just rotate him. Again, that's my personal preference. You can do however you want. Also at Masters, it allows you to repair materials and village blacksmiths, restore additional armor points for your armors. Now, let's look at probably among the least useful professions. It is the Woodsman. I put Woodsman on this character because why not? It's the strength is not really awesome, but critical helps. So Woodsman at your novice gives you +1 crit hit or strength, but at masters it gives you +4 strength and +6 crit. And at novice allows you just to cut wood. At apprentice can find components from cutting wood. Then you just gives you more wood per axe blow, and then at masters allows you your all previous bonus to be improved. It is not really needed because the place where you can cut wood is not many. It is very little, and even then, you're not gonna need to cut wood because you can find wood. You can sometimes buy it. It's probably among the least useful, profession. That's why I'll put it as literally at the bottom, number 10, 100. So let's go over real quick. The first 4 or first 3 professions I would recommend is blacksmith, tinker, and thief. Then after that, I would recommend either cook or probably cook. Your angler is probably towards the end. You want to pick it on one of your first 4 just to get the food, but then switch it out. Your miner and your angler are probably your 5th and 6th character. Cook would be number 4. So angler and miner 5 and 6. Scholar would be definitely number 7. Alchemist probably among number 8. Actually, no, I'll put Alchemist number 7, Scholar's number 8, and then Bard and Woodcutter number 9. And number 9 for Bard, number 10 for Woodcutter. Again, this is just my personal preferences. You can obviously disagree with it. Let me know down in the comments how would you rank them. And I just want to remind that if we can get to 500 subscribers by November 12th, which is 4 days away, we'll be doing $25 gift card giveaway, and we're so close. But with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to stay awesome. I'll see you in the next one, and bye-bye.